I am going to be exploring how you can resolve burnout before it happens. And what I mean about that is that we're going to look at some early signs of burnout and then use the information from that to look at some ways that you can actually resolve or avoid getting burnout in the first place. I will be answering comments possibly during or the after the session, but all comments will be answered, all questions will be answered in the either live during the call, at the end of the call, or in the comments afterwards. So that's how I'm going to do it. And just want to remind anyone watching this, either now or later, that I'm offering conscious discovery calls to anyone who wants to improve their health and create new ways forwards. So you can just comment with a Y below and I'll contact you on completion of this Facebook Live with details. Okay, so so this, in today's live, we're going to look at, well, there's 13 early signs of burnout that I've got a list of here. We might get through all of them, or we might just cover some of them. We're going to look at some of these and some of the things that you can do to address them before they get to a critical point. So, mine's gone blank. Yes, prevention is better than cure. Prevention is, of course, ideal. If you don't have to cure yourself from a condition, then that is going to be the best way that things can be. No, obviously, if you do get to that stage, then there's many things that you can do. But, you know, in the style of the Chinese doctors who are paid by their clients not getting ill, let's look at things that you can actually do to resolve burnout before it happens. Okay, so the first symptom that we're going to look at is high levels of stress or anxiety. The classic, I guess you could say, that people relate to burnout is feeling frequently on edge, lots of adrenaline coursing through the body, you know, knowing that this is a borrowed energy that can't be sustained. Well, the conventional way of suggestion would be to find a way to manage the stress. But I don't think that is the best way of actually dealing with it, because if well, from my perspective, actually managing something just adds another stress. So having to manage something implies putting a lid on it, keeping it down, and so you're not actually resolving the reason why something's there. You're just looking at the symptom and trying to suppress it effectively. So instead, the best way of managing stress or anxiety is to explore and find the root cause. So find what's actually causing the stress or anxiety and find a way to not have that thing in your life if that's possible. That's number one. That's a very, if you are able to totally release yourself from the source of stress, of course, that's great. Practically, many people aren't able to do that because if it's their job, for example, then they might well be in a place where they need that job, highly likely. So then it's about finding why there's so much stress being caused. Now, the stress, by the way, is not actually the cause of anything happening. Stress is a symptom. So by releasing the root, whatever the reason that this situation is stressful to you is the way to actually move forwards from this. So let's say it is something at work, for example, is causing you to feel stressed, and this is a chronic ongoing stress that you don't get relief from. Then look at what that actually is and see if the feeling that the situation is causing you relates to situations in your past, and you can then use that information to actually release the attachment to whatever's causing the stress. And so the situation, you might feel better about the situation, might find it to be less stressful. And tapping techniques such as EFT, probably things like hypnosis will work very well for this. I like the tapping techniques because they really get into the body and help you to release things at a deep level. Okay, so another big one, something that's a real warning sign when you are coming to when burnout is looming, you may not be there yet, is increased cynicism. So feeling resentment, disconnection about your work, about people who are involved, whatever. So you might be cranky, snappy at people, and not making time anymore to connect with people, and starting to just feel this, this whole, I guess, cynicism and emptiness about whatever it is in your life. It might be work, it might be another situation. So if you're noticing this, then taking time to actually connect to the people that are really important to you, to really start identifying where you're not getting your needs met is really key here, and finding where the reason that this cynicism is coming about, likely to be that your personal values are not being fulfilled. You're not seeing the point in what you're doing, or whatever's happening. And this is a really key part of burnout, something that leads to burnout, because when you aren't fulfilling your values, if you're putting all of your energy into carrying out tasks that don't actually fit and fulfill your life, then eventually your adrenals start to fade. They start to stop releasing as the hormones necessary for you to have ongoing energy. And then in that situation, that's when you start reaching this adrenal fatigue type burnout situation. So what you can do is, use this as a time to find out where your needs aren't being met, actually take some conscious decisions around that, and maybe reconnect with the people who support you in your life. That could be a very valuable way out of it. So if you're noticing that you're increasingly cynical, then don't just go with that. Here we go. To actually just try and track back to why this is happening, and then how it's not fitting in with who you are, and then release yourself from that. Okay, so distracted eating. This is a big one. So if you are finding that you're having all of your meals in front of the television, in front of your laptop, in the car, walking along, quickly grabbing a sandwich, whatever, then you're not giving your body time for the rest and reflection and enjoyment that can come with having good, nutritious food and focusing your attention on that. So this often happens for people who are in stressful situations, or have got a lot of stress, anxiety going on, they just feel like they haven't got time to take that break. So they have to multitask, and it means, of course, that they're taking energy and attention in their body away from effective digestion. So funny that I had a bit of a burp type situation going on there when I was talking about digestion. There you go. So yeah, so if you aren't taking time to eat mindfully, then just try and see where you can fit in, just when you're eating, making sure that it is something where it is the only activity that you're doing at the time. And, you know, perhaps making sure that it can be a social activity with people, if that is something that you've been missing as well. So yeah, make mindful eating, not distracted, and healthy food. And if you know, if that's something that you are feeling that you're too busy for to make this healthy food or whatever, there's services available these days where you can have pretty reasonably priced, certainly if you're in cities, your meals for the week delivered for you, that you can just take with you to work or whatever, or make it, or have microwave at home or whatever it is, if you use a microwave, so that you can actually have that healthy meal, good ingredients, that's going to support you, and be mindful with your eating. So yeah, very important. So not getting enough sleep. This is, of course, is a classic for people who are starting to feel more and more stress, having thoughts running through their head, keeping them awake. Or it could be anything. It could be anything that they're thinking about. It might even not feel like they're thinking about anything at all, but they just can't sleep. But yeah, a symptom of too many stress hormones in your body. So, you know, even if you are a night owl and not getting enough sleep, have a look, and starting to feel stress and lack of energy as a result of that, then definitely look at your sleep and see if you can change your sleep cycle. Now, a great way of doing this is to make sure that you're going to bed and waking up, which will happen naturally as over time, but you've got the same sleep cycle. So going to bed the same time every night is one simple way that you can really try and, you know, address the sleep issue. And different people have different sleep requirements, of course. So different types of people, different personalities have different types of sleep requirements. Some people can get by on a very small amount. Some people need a lot to and can fall asleep very easily. You might find that you're someone who needs to read to go to sleep, and your partner might not be. If you're with someone, they might be someone who sleeps easily. They don't want you to have the light on or whatever while you're reading. So find a way of making sure that you can that you can actually, you know, do whatever it is that you need to do to go to sleep. So if you're not finding that you are able to sleep easily and naturally without help, then again, techniques such as EFT, tapping, hypnosis, very, very valuable for helping you to get to sleep, helping you to find the reasons that you're not getting the sleep and to resolve them. Now, linked to that, low energy and exhaustion. So, this is beyond just tired and sleepy. We talk about actually really emotionally fatigued. And this is a sign that you really are on the way to that burnout situation, and definitely time to start addressing this. So if you just find that at the end of whatever you're doing during the day, you've got no energy to for some enjoyment, relaxation, or whatever, all you can do is crash, switch your brain off in front of a television. Fine, some of the time, of course, but if you're doing that all the time, then that's not going to be valuable for you. So if that is the case, then this goes back to looking at where you're not having your values met, you're not being fulfilled, you've got this, your body's no longer creating energy for you to move in the direction that you are, because you've got no, it's the wrong direction for you. So in this case, this is the time to actually, again, really start looking at what you want in life and what you can do to start fulfilling that. So again, looking at your values, using that to create a vision of your life, and then using that over time, starting to move towards that, even tiny steps, you start to have more energy for that, as you start being more in line with who you are. Okay, so next one is excessive worrying, high level of self-criticism. We have a self-esteem epidemic in our society. Many people, pretty much everyone, is through their conditioning not loving themselves truly. So we've got a lot of critical voices telling us that we have to do more, work harder, and no matter what you accomplish, you're not doing enough. So if this is you and you're recognizing this, then one simple thing to do is start to make sure that you're celebrating your successes, however small, whatever they are. Celebrate your wins, and also, very important, becoming good with times that you fail or don't succeed in whatever it is that you've been trying to actually do. If things don't work out for you, if you're not achieving success, that's feedback, not failure. Now, this is present moment stuff, of course. So celebrating wins, making peace with failure, and in your past, there will be undoubtedly events where you felt the universal limiting belief of I'm not good enough, and created that, where you found that you are, criticism, judgment of others, and that was important to you. You created a survival mechanism based around that when you were younger, but you can switch that off through actually exploring and resolving these events in your past, so they don't have to affect you anymore. They just become old stories, and you can create a new way forwards. So those are some of the main factors, early stages of burnout. Now, just want to say, if anyone's got any questions, please write them in the comments, write them in, either before or after the session, whatever, that's great. And I'm very happy to answer those. I'll be keeping an eye on this for about for a day or so after this live. Any questions, I'll be notified and I can answer them for you. Okay, so a few more of the early signs of burnout. Physical illnesses. You might start finding that you're more susceptible to physical health conditions, headaches, persistent colds, stomach bug, or ongoing stomach problems, perhaps digestive problems. At this stage, then you can really start exploring why those have happened. In that case, then having a health analysis. Once you've got a diagnosis, found out what's going on, it's worth exploring why these are happening. Now, not everything, of course, needs a diagnosis. If it's colds, flu, things like that, then these symptoms will come and go. But if you're starting to get something that's a bit more chronic or ongoing than those, then it's good to explore and find where those symptoms fit in with the burnout or the other psychological symptoms that you're experiencing. I talked about this in more detail in a previous Facebook Live, which you'll find down the page somewhere. Okay. A big one is if you're starting to feel, and this sort of fits in with the cynicism as well, feelings of numbness. Starting to find that you need to feeling a bit hollow, empty inside, starting to require dependence on things like excessive caffeine. Coffee's a good thing. Well, I think it's a good thing, but when it gets excessive, when you're having lots and lots of cups just to keep going with lots of sugar in, then there might be, you are artificially putting stress on your body when it's trying to recover from something. So trying to boost your energy when you're feeling low. And, this could progress to dependence on drugs to feel better in the evenings, drugs, alcohol, whatever. Many different things can actually this can get worse and worse, and these are all signs of coping mechanisms avoiding how it is that you actually feel. Okay, so any questions at the moment? I'd love some comments, any reactions, heart reacts, anything like that would be great. It all helps to get this information out a bit further into the world. So and if you've got this numbness and this emptiness, again, we're talking about this is another sign that you're not on your path, and something that's quite important to look at in order to avoid this getting worse and going into a full burnout situation. Okay, so just want to talk about another big one is not having breaks. So if you're not having breaks, you're not taking time off to relax, not had any vacations, even if that's just chill out time, for a sustained bit of chill out time for a few months, 6 months, even a year, then you need to look at that. It's really important to have this rest and regeneration time in your life so that you can be healthy, basically. Right. Okay. So talked about some of the reasons, why you might be experiencing burnout or moving towards burnout rather. And if you're finding that you've got a few of those signs in your life, then it's time to do something about that. So some practical things that you can do is, just look at what out of those symptoms, what are the most prevalent ones in your life. You can go in and explore why those are there, and then do what you can consciously to resolve them. Come up with actual actions that you can take to address the levels of stress and anxiety, or the distracted eating, or high levels of self-criticism, whatever it is. And by doing that, then you will be you know that you're taking action, and that's a great that's going to be great for you in actually moving forwards. Okay, and as I said before, any questions that you've got about burnout, any aspect of that, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'll be very happy to answer them. And yeah, I just want to remind, if you're watching, that I am offering free discovery calls for anyone who wants to understand their health at a deeper level, and then use that knowledge to transform their life rather. So feel free to comment below if you're interested, or send me a message. Be very happy to do that. So thank you for watching. Any questions? Guess not. So toodle pip, over and out.